Hi, my name is Lindsay Mesa, and I am doing this recording for Dr. Kwame's PBA 520 class. I am studying the Rape Prevention and Education Program, specifically the MyPlan app. So just going to go ahead and get started. So some information and statistics. Sexual violence is a broad term. Really anything that falls into that can be sexual harassment, sexual assault, rape, anything kind of that nature. So 1 in 3 women experience sexual violence at some point in their life, and every 1 in 6 men actually experience it. So these numbers are very high. I know this is kind of a hot issue right now, and a lot of people are talking about it. It's extremely controversial. Some believe that kind of correlates to the rise of the #MeToo app, but that is kind of another discussion. So there's several different programs that provide resources to victims of sexual assault and education to victims of sexual assault and those who aren't victims. Specifically, there's a lot of different federal acts and laws put into place, such as the Clery Act and the Campus Save Act. Those kind of correlate specifically to collegiate campuses. So another federal program that is implemented is the Rape Prevention and Education Program, which is what I'm studying. So the Rape Prevention and Education Program falls under the CDC, or the Central for Disease Control, So the RPE provides services and education to individuals who are victims of sexual assault or individuals who are in danger of experiencing sexual assault. Currently, the grant that funds the RPE is a freestanding grant. It used to operate as a block grant. As we have covered in Dr. Herzog's budgeting class, a block grant, when something falls as a block grant, funds can only be spent on certain things. However, when the RPE was functioning as a block grant, unfortunately, the RPE really wasn't able to provide the services that it was needing to provide. So they did switch it over to a freestanding grant, and now more services are being provided and more people are being reached out to. So moving into kind of the money side of things, $44 million is dispersed between all of the United States, so all 50 states, and then the territories that the United States holds. It's not divvied up equally. It's kind of based on the number of sexual violence acts that have been reported, and then the population. So the RPE implements new programs every year, and one of the programs that they are implementing and have been implementing for a while that is kind of being seen as one of the most prevalent is the MyPlan app. So the MyPlan app, or the MyPlan application, is an application that you can use on your smartphone. It was first tested in 2010 and received a lot of positive feedback, so they went ahead and implemented it and made it available to everyone that has a smart device. It was actually invented at Johns Hopkins University by the nursing students there. So basically what the app does is it allows individuals to enter information under 2 different aspects. You can enter it as information pertaining to yourself or information pertaining to a loved one or a friend. There are several different aspects of the app. Some of them are relationship myths, red flags, healthy relationship information, and user priorities. So the way it works is that once you answer if it's information pertaining to yourself or a loved one, and then you go through in each of these categories, you answer questions about yourself or the situation that you're in, and then the MyPlan app provides you with a safety plan based on that information. I actually went through the app and did it myself with some false information not pertaining to my personal life, and kind of to see the different results that it would give, and if everything was kind of tailored to one way or to another way. And really, it was really individualized, and I was really pleasantly surprised by that. So I'm wanting to do an evaluation for this. This is an evaluation class, obviously. So really the reason for the evaluation is to determine if the RPE's funding on the MyPlan app is justifiable. I say that because even though that the MyPlan app does provide great services, it does cost a lot of money to implement. The app is free, so it has to be paid some way. To kind of decide whether or not the MyPlan app is a safe, sufficient, and effective way for individuals to obtain a safety plan, a lot of the times when individuals are experiencing sexual violence or feel as if they're in danger of experiencing sexual violence, it's hard for them to address the situation face to face or, in an office with somebody, so on and so forth. And so we're wanting to see if the app is really a good way for individuals to obtain this information. We're going to use the impact theory to do this, mainly because the app has an impact on those using it, and the evaluation will have an impact on those individuals as well. So for the methodology, I want to state that this methodology will not be carried out at this time. However, it is something that I'm really interested in, and if I had not already done my capstone, this would be a great project, I think. So I want to contact individuals using the MyPlan app. When you first sign up for the app, you enter your personal email address, and I think that if we were to contact individuals through the email address that they're using, we might have a better response rate to see if individuals would be willing to participate. We're wanting to look at college-age students, male or female. Really just the college age, because just to kind of narrow down our study group and to kind of see, what are individuals kind of from 18 to 25 or 24, how they feel about the app, because there is an increase in individuals who experience sexual violence while you're in college. Roughly around 20% of women experience sexual violence while they're in college. So I think it's important to state that no incentives will be provided to participants, and participants must sign a consent form before actually pertaining in their research. Some of the other research that I've looked at that is similar to this stated that individuals had to drop out because of their safety was in danger and things like that. So I think that's important to implement, a consent form, and also implement in the consent form that if individual safety is in jeopardy, that they are required to drop out of the study. So the actual study will be 15 to 20 yes or no and open-ended questions. So the methodology continues. Some of the sample questions that I'm looking at utilizing is, did you actually utilize the safety plan that was provided for you? Did you feel that the app asked appropriate questions? Mainly that one comes from when I did utilize the app myself. The questions seemed to get more intense and more personal as the categories went on. For instance, one of the questions, the category starts by asking the question, has your partner ever forced you to skip a social event? The category is about 20 or 25 questions, and the last question asks, has your partner ever forced you to participate in an intimate situation that you didn't want to participate in? So the questions do get more personal, more emotional, triggering, and more intense as it goes on. So once participants complete the survey, again about 20 questions, they'll submit the survey via my app. I think that it's important to submit it that way because that is how we're going to contact the participants. And I want to utilize descriptive statistics mainly because that's going to be the easiest way to filter out all of the different answers that we're getting, especially since some of them are open-ended questions. So some results. This is kind of the results section. Again, the methodology wasn't actually carried out, so the results that I found are actually from previous studies that pertain to this. So the first one, participants believe that the app made a difference in their recovery. This one was actually a result from a different type of situation that individuals were in. Some individuals were given the option to utilize a different sector of the MyPlan app. These individuals were in a psychiatric unit, and the individuals were able to utilize the app and then see how if it made a difference in their recovery, and it provided them with a safety plan for their own, for self-harm issues and things of that nature. So that I believe 18% of participants actually received the app before being discharged from the unit, and 100% of that 18% did feel as if the app made a recovery and a difference. These last 3 bullet points are more specific to the research that I'm wanting to do. Participants believe that the app was an appropriate way to gain information. So this comes from a study that looked specifically at college-aged women who utilized the app for either themselves or their friends who were experiencing sexual violence. So a majority of the women did say that it was an appropriate way to gain information. Again, it can be difficult for individuals to actually go and seek services face-to-face. So the app can be a great way for individuals to seek these services and gain the education and the information that they need to kind of escape their situation. The next one, participants reported that the app provides relevant information. Again, I myself did find that the information was tailored to the specific information that you're inputting. So that's a great one to find. Participants believe that the app was a good way to support and approach friends who were victims of sexual assault. So this was something that was actually heavily addressed in this article. And the article found that a lot of women who used the app didn't use it for themselves, but selected the option that it's for a loved one or a friend. So they did feel as if it was a good way to kind of break the ice with their friends and saying, look at this app, this is something that I've utilized, and I think that this information is prevalent to you or your situation, so on and so forth. So the results that we hope to find that the participants feel as if the app made a difference in their situation. Again, that's something that we found in previous studies, but that study did not directly mirror what I'm wanting to find. Wanting to find that the app, individuals that utilize the app feel that the app is a comfortable, helpful, and useful way to obtain the information. Again, it can be extremely nerve-wracking, upsetting, embarrassing to address these situations in a face-to-face setting. So we want to make sure that the individuals feel that it's comfortable, helpful being that the appropriate questions are being asked, and a useful way to obtain the information. Did they feel as if the safety plan was actually relevant and prevalent to their situation in life? And finally, we want to ensure that the RP is executing the MyPlan to the best of their abilities and that they're spending their funds in the best way. Not so much the right way, but the best way, meaning that we're ensuring that they're reaching the most amount of victims and the most of potential victims. So some recommendations. The RP recommendation will be that the RP continues to provide the MyPlan to all smart owner devices. 99% of, actually I think it's 97% of all Americans have a smart device. The 99 comes from all Americans having cell phones. So 97%, which is still a large number of Americans, have a smart device. So that means that 97% of all Americans have the option to use the MyPlan app. However, if the RPU came out to say, we're only going to offer this to Apple products, or we're only going to offer this to Android users, that could significantly decrease the amount of individuals that are able to utilize the app. So the recommendation is that they continue to do so by providing the app to all users. Promote the setting of the 2 different settings. What I mean by that is kind of promote more that the app has a setting for yourself and for a loved one that information can be inputted as. After all of my research and looking at the MyPlan app, I didn't actually know that it had those 2 settings until I downloaded it. I think that if the app was, or if the RPE or the CDC were to promote that it had that 2 settings, there could see an increase in users and also see an increase of victims being serviced appropriately. So the continued development of the medical care aspect. So there's actually a new aspect of the app that is currently being developed, and it is an aspect that allows for individuals to reach out or obtain information from medical care professionals who specialize in sexual assault. This could be extremely helpful for the obvious reasons. I think this would also be really helpful if they were to implement a setting where users could input their insurance information if they had it, and a list of medical care professionals in their area who specialize in sexual assault, whether that be regular doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, so on and so forth, in their area who accept their insurance. That could be extremely helpful and also kind of kickstart that conversation of seeking the face-to-face help. So finally, the last recommendation is that the RPE continues to research and determine the aspects, the working aspects of the MyPlan app. So far, what I've seen is that there's not a plethora of information or research out there about the MyPlan app because it is new. That's my dog squeaking her squeak toy. 1 second. Sorry about that. We're almost done anyways. But so to kind of do more research, see how this is impacting the lives of people. Is it impacting the lives of people? And is this a justifiable and sufficient way for the RPE to be spending their funds? So that is the end of my presentation. Again, my name is Lindsay Mesa. I researched the MyPlan app that is put on through the Rape Education and Prevention Program, which is held by the CDC. I hope that you gain some new information, and that if you need the app, you go ahead and seek it. Thank you.